Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Welcome to another episode of Haqiqatjou, where we discuss religion and politics, the two least controversial subjects. As always, I'm your host, Daniel Haqiqatjou, and today we are talking about a viral story of simphood that has shocked the entire internet. And many Muslims have also been following this, even though it involves non-Muslims, it involves a Hindu couple. And this story is just so shocking and disturbing, but it's so commonplace. It's something that is actually very commonplace in Western society and increasingly Eastern society. And it's affecting Muslims, and it's something that we talk about. We talk about on Haqiqatjou, we've talked about in debates on MuslimSkeptic, and it's worth commenting on because this is a disease. This is a disease of simping, being a white knight, for women who in many cases and increasingly most cases do not deserve the benefit of the doubt. And it's sad to say that even Muslim women are falling into this. And I'm not going to claim that it's at the same level as non-Muslim women. Alhamdulillah, Muslim sisters are generally more modest. They generally avoid zina. They generally avoid cheating or premarital relations, generally. But unfortunately, many of them fall into the same patterns. They fall into the same influence of the wider Western culture, which is a culture of promiscuity, a culture of showing off your body, attracting attention. Unfortunately, many Muslims have fallen into that, and they end up committing zina. And then when they want to get married, later in their late 20s or 30s or late 30s nowadays, they lie about their past. They lie about their history. They have a body count. Some of these Muslim women, they do have a body count that they racked up in college. They racked up in graduate school or in their workplace because they're empowered boss babes. They're out there making that dough, making that bread, and then they want to get married, and they claim that they're virgins. They claim that they have absolutely no experience with guys. Just blatant lies, and they're asking, by the way, these massive mahar, the massive mahar they want. I think I shared this on my Telegram. They're wanting to have $500,000 mahar. You know, $500,000 in mahar, or 100,000, or 200,000, or 50,000. These exorbitant. Meanwhile, they have this history. It's shocking, but this is what we find increasingly in the Muslim community in the West, and sometimes in the East. Meanwhile, the Muslim brothers, a lot of them are virgins. A lot of them don't have the same experience. And again, this mirrors the pattern that we find within wider society, where women are much more promiscuous and have much higher body counts than men. In fact, with men, we have this incel phenomenon. Incel stands for involuntarily celibate. These are men who, they're not Muslim. They want to be with women. They want to have these relationships, but there's no woman who will give them that. There's no woman who will look at them and accept them. Why? Because the women, in their calculation, why should I limit myself to a man who is in the bottom 80% in terms of his looks, in terms of his size, in terms of his wealth? Why not just hook up with the top 20% of men? Why not go for the Chad? Okay, even though I myself might not be a supermodel, but I'm still beautiful. I've been told that I'm beautiful just the way I am. And plus, there's all these simps that are constantly liking my pictures on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. I have a chance to be with Chad, and maybe when he realizes how amazing I am, he's going to put a ring on my finger, and I'm going to be married to Chad. So it's worth hooking up with Chad rather than being promiscuous or hooking up with someone who's less than Chad. So this phenomenon creates inceldom. It creates a sea of incels. Why? Because all of the women, insofar as they want to be sexually active, they go with the top 20% of chads, and that is their expectation for what they deserve. Of course, those chads, the top 20% of guys, they're just going through a roster. They're just going through, whoever. One night stand, hookups. Go through the Tinder app, swipe right on who's it going to be tonight. They can afford to do that because there's no shortage of women that want to sleep with them. They're in the top 20%, the top 10%. They're monopolizing the sexual marketplace, whereas 80% can't find anyone. So they're incels. And what ends up happening is they go through life as virgins until they get more settled in terms of their career. They start making money. They buy a house, maybe they have a car, or they have more wealth than in their 30s, 40s, and then these girls, these women who are also now in their late 30s or late 20s, early 30s, their looks are starting to fall off. They've what's called hitting the wall. They've hit the wall, and they need to settle down after having their fun. They need to settle down, and who's going to marry them now? It's not Chad. Chad is going to go for the supermodel. He's going to go for someone who, when he wants to commit finally after having his fun, he's going to commit to someone who's in the top 20% like he is. So then all of these women that he has used and they have used him, they don't have anyone to be with other than the rest of the 80%, all of these men that they ignored for their youth, when they were in college, when they were young and sprightly in their 20s. Now they have to settle down. Who are they going to settle down with? They're going to settle down with the simps. They're going to settle down with the former incels. And they're going to lie to him and say, we were virgins, just like you. We were always virgins, just like you. Then he's going to believe it. He's, oh, yeah, of course. And then he's going to pay for everything. He's going to bail her out. And that's the way that Western society is set up. That is what sexual freedom does. Like this idea that sexual freedom, just destroying the requirement to get married before being sexually active, that when you take that away and create this kind of sexual freedom of promiscuity, who does that mainly benefit? It benefits the men in the top 20%. That's who it benefits. 80% of men get nothing. Get nothing. So this is a disaster, a sociological disaster that the West is being destroyed by demographically. The high IQ West. They couldn't figure out this problem. They didn't realize that absolutely destroying the institution of marriage and then empowering women. Okay, that's a key component, because not only do you have to say that, well, marriage is not required to be sexually active. Religions say, or Christianity and Islam and even Judaism say that, no, you have to be married before you're sexually active. We're going to take away that norm, take away that law, that biblical law. And the second component of that is destroying any kind of shame. Telling women that, there's no problem with being promiscuous. You have to get yours. You deserve it. Don't be such a prude. Go and experiment. Go and live your best life. This is also the message that they're telling women. Otherwise, women might have more shyness. They might have more modesty, and they'll avoid getting on that kind of roster, getting on the carousel, as they call it. But no, they're being socially engineered. And they're being told, no, you got to be a boss, babe. You got to own it. You got to own your own sexuality. You got to go and don't listen to what, the patriarchy says. The patriarchy just wants to hold you back. And the patriarchy wants to keep you a virgin for its own benefit, for the benefit of men. But you got to get yours. You got to go and enjoy. That's what they're telling women in general. And Muslim women are also listening to this, and they're hearing this, and they're being influenced by this. Is there any doubt? So that's the context. That's the social engineering that is taking place. And now we have this viral story of exactly what I described, embodied by an actual couple, and it's going viral. It's going absolutely viral. A lot of people talking about it, and it shows you exactly the level of degeneracy and how cooked basically young Muslim men are, how cooked society is. And so I want to play, I spent some time to edit together a cut of this drama, how it's unfolded. And it took a long time because I had to bleep out a lot of profanity, have to blur it because these non-Muslims, they are not wearing hijab or covering, obviously. But we're going to go through this, and inshallah, this is a message to the simps, okay? When you're looking at this couple, the guy's name, he's a Hindu guy, AKAASH. He's a comedian, AKAASH. He has a podcast. It's called The Flagrant Podcast with Andrew Schultz. When you look at this guy and you hear his voice, just think that this is you, the Muslim simp. Okay, for those Muslim simps out there, put your face on his face, because that's who you are. When you're simping and you're white knighting, and you can see he's gonna do. I'm gonna play it. He's gonna do that. Put your face on his face, because that's you, and the same thing that's happening to him is gonna happen to you. Maybe not on the same level on the global stage, but a microcosm is coming to your household. This is a warning, okay, for all the Muslim simps who are angry at me, and they say Daniel has no respect for women. Daniel is a misogynist. Daniel doesn't know what he's talking about. We're going to listen to Mufti Menk and Omar Suleiman and Yasser Qadi or whoever else. They're the true representatives of what Islam teaches. Hey, you're the Muslim simp. You need to envision this as you. AKAASH'S is you, your future, or your present maybe. So let's go ahead and watch what these people, this disaster. Before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, leave me some comments in the chat. I'm going to look at your super chats. And I want to know what you guys think about this whole situation. And your super chats support the channel, and it helps a lot with the algorithm. So feel free to contribute. And don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter. It's linked below. We also have linked below, very relevant to today's stream, is our upcoming retreat in Turkey, marriage school. This is something that you should sign up for if you are planning to get married, you are already married, or you've been married and divorced. Whatever the case may be, this retreat is for you. Marriage school in Turkey. It's going to be a great program, inshallah, with me, with Khaled. And you can get the information in the link below. Go ahead and sign up. It's coming up, inshallah. And we want to see you there. So it's sponsored by Global Ummah Retreats. They're the hosts, they're the facilitators, and they're putting together a really great program, alhamdulillah. And it's not just me, other speakers are going to be there, not going to be just me and Khaled, other speakers. So go ahead and sign up for that. The link is in the description below, and we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time, inshallah. If you enjoy talking about or thinking about the marriage crisis, the phenomenon of simphood, you're going to enjoy this retreat, inshallah, and you're going to learn a lot. Okay, so let's get into this. Let me get my headphones. Okay, so this is what set up this whole drama. So they have this podcast. It's called The Flagrant Podcast. That's AKAASH on the left. And then they invited Fresh and Fit. And there's Myron there. And Myron is trying to red pill them on women. But AKAASH, being the simp that he is, and Andrew Schultz as a co-simp, they're not buying it. So let's listen.
In the relationship, whoever cares less has the leverage, and we want the guy to always care less. We want the man to always have the leverage.
Childish as f.
And you guys might not like hearing that.
Childish.
But we truly feel.
I'm not. These aren't new beliefs, bro. You're not telling me some shit none of us have ever heard. We all heard this.
I mean, I'm married. Akash is married. Mark is married, right? Like, it's possible. Now, granted, we might call you in 10 years and be like, y'all were fucking right. You know what I'm saying?
different. My wife also hadn't had any sexual partners, so that helped us connect a lot more.
Okay, so they were on the podcast, and AKAASH has to white knight and say that you don't know what you're talking about. You're childish. This idea that a man has to be, has a stoic or has to be removed and not be as emotionally invested as a woman. He finds that childish. He thinks that that's just terrible advice. So that's the setup. And then here is another podcast where AKAASH is describing that his wife, when they met, he was a virgin and she was a virgin.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe her?
If you've seen her, then it's hard to believe. Yeah. I remember I was just like, what? But she was 22, I was 31. There was an age gap.
Sure. Did you lie, or did you come right out and say like, oh, me too? Or was it, what did that conversation go like?
I don't remember how it came. I think she said it.
Blacked out?
She said it, and then I was like...
When she said, I'm a virgin, you went, your heart exploded?
Yeah.
Well, we got happy. He said nothing compared to.
Exactly, dude. I was
a stallion compared to anybody else.
That's great. So happy.
Yeah. So this is a common phenomenon, okay? These women claiming that they're virgins. And lying about it. Like, openly, just blatantly lying. And this is what's encouraged, actually. This is encouraged. Unfortunately, we have all these simp imams who encourage women to outright lie. And they say that this is because you're not supposed to reveal your sins. Don't reveal your sins. So just lie and tell any future prospective husband that you're a virgin. Even if you have slept with hundreds of men. Okay, you've slept with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men. Just lie about it because you don't want to reveal your sins. So simp imams are enabling this, and this is not Islamic at all. Okay, I'm not saying reveal your sins to anyone. However, you're not supposed to portray yourself as someone who is fresh. Okay, you're not supposed to portray yourself like that. And if you're straight up asked about your history, you're not allowed to lie about that. So you're not allowed to lie in that situation when you're going to be married, when a marriage contract is on the line. And that's the nature of the aqd, the marriage contract, is it has to be based on honesty. It has to be based on honesty, and very critical for your value in a marriage is your history, especially as a woman. As a woman, your history is very important. As a man, your history is also important. For example, if you're a man who has been doing drugs or has had a criminal record, or you have some kind of STD, okay, your history, that's very relevant to the marriage. So you need to disclose that. Or if you're asked about it, you can't lie. You can't lie. So these simp imams who say that you're allowed to lie, this is complete nonsense. They're only enabling this type of behavior from women, because women get the assurance from the simp imams that, oh, okay, great. So I can just do whatever I want. I can sleep with whoever I want. If it happens, whoopsies, it's an accident. Whoopsies, I just fornicated. Whoopsies, I guess things happen in college. I guess things happen when you're living on your own in an apartment because you're working this job that you had to move away from your family. Whoopsies, I guess things happen. Well, good thing simp imam gave me the fatwa. I can just lie about it. I can just lie about it. I don't have to be careful because things happen, and I can just hide that. I can just lie. That's the situation that's been created by these simp imams. And here's the victim. He's like, yeah, my wife is a virgin. This is what he believes.
Yeah, that for sure. So relieved. Yeah. And it was just like, it felt right. It was like, oh, God brought me this person that we already connected, and she also isn't having sex.
I'm just going to really.
God brought me this person. Okay, you're a Hindu, so what kind of God was that brought you this? might want to look into that God business that you believe in as a Hindu. Okay, so now listen, more confirmation. She's just saying, I was a virgin.
Really just started off here. Before you got in here, I was asking AKAASH about his first time, with you, not as much, but how did it go with other women, talking about never having. So he's 34. How old are you?
25.
Okay. So you meet him.
Yeah.
He's never had sex and he's older than you. Were you ew?
Yeah.
It's funny because the guy that I was kind of with right before him was also a virgin. And
Stole it from a black dude. I stole it from a black dude.
The black man was a virgin?
I know,
yeah,
right?
yeah. He was like really like on some principle, and I don't know. I don't know why.
She was with a black gentleman and she's claiming that before meeting her husband, and she still claims that she is a virgin. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't want to lose his virginity, but when I met Akash, I was at the.
So she's portraying this like this black gentleman is principled. He's a virgin. She doesn't say that I didn't want to lose my virginity. Notice how she didn't say that. She says this black boyfriend that I had, he was principled. He didn't want to lose his virginity to me.
The point where I was ready, because I don't know if you told her, because I was.
Oh no, I didn't know you were a virgin too.
So I was a virgin too when I met him.
She can't even say it with a straight face. I was a virgin. I was a virgin. She can't even say it with a straight face.
That's why.
You don't know no better.
I do have no idea.
You gotta get him ignorant, you know what I mean?
Akash say, you got to get them ignorant. You got to marry them when they're virgins and ignorant. It sounds like you're the ignorant one. It sounds like you're the one who's getting taken advantage of there, bro.
No, so I felt like I was like at a place where I was ready, and then I found out he was a virgin, and then I was like, great. Like, do I have to wait again? But I think like we just connected very well that it went without saying that we wanted to.
How did you guys meet?
Show. She had a fat down.
Wait, you met at one of his shows?
No, we're at the Hoboken Comedy Festival. And
Andrew.
Sometimes I get.
Okay, so that establishes that he believed that she was a virgin. She claims that she was a virgin, publicly claiming this, even though it's like so implausible. Like, what are you talking about? But this is very similar to these Muslim women. Okay, some of these Muslim women, again, I already made the disclaimer that Muslim women are more modest on average. I already made that disclaimer, so don't come at me and say that I'm equating Muslim women to non-Muslim women. I'm not doing that. But unfortunately, the reality is there is overlap. So this is analogous when the Muslim woman comes to you and says, yeah, I'm a virgin and I was living in the college dorm, for 4 years, and then I was living alone in an apartment, and I was working at this job with the male manager, with all these male coworkers, and I was living in my apartment for 6-7 years because I graduated as a 22-year-old, and then I'm 28 or I'm 30, so 6-8 years of living alone in the apartment or wherever, and I'm a virgin. Okay, I'm a virgin. You as a Muslim man have to view that with the same kind of credulity, with the same kind of believability as Akash listening to his wife talking about being with the black guy and he was a virgin and he was principled. Okay, you have to have the same believability. That's as believable. Okay, what this Muslim woman is telling you about her history living in the dorm and being involved in all these activities, by the way, being very active, then going to work. Maybe she even went to graduate school. You have to view that with the same believability. Unfortunately, like if you're smart, because what are the odds? Like, what are the odds of a Muslim woman going to college by herself and being empowered, like having this kind of attitude, then going to the workplace, being in a job surrounded by men, living on her own for years and years and years? Like, do you think women don't have that kind of desire that men do? They do. It's comparable. The desire that women have is comparable to the desire that men have. It's not the same level, but it's comparable. So you think she was, for a decade, basically, surrounded by other men, interacting with other men, because, by the way, these Muslim women, unfortunately, they don't buy into the idea of gender segregation. We have to be separate from the men. They find this to be patriarchal. They find this to be oppressive. They want to be mixing with men wherever men happen to be. They want to be in the center of that, whether it's at the MSA, the ISOC, whether it be in class, whether it be at work, whether it be at the whatever activity, even in sports, like they're going to the gyms. That's what she's doing for 10 years. And then she's coming to you and she's saying that I'm a virgin. Give me, the 100K mahar. So you have to believe her in the same way that you believe AKAASH'S wife saying that she was a virgin while having this experience with other guys. Okay, that's how plausible the Muslim woman's line is. Okay, now the thing about this that's so crazy is that she's publicly saying that she was a virgin. AKAASH is saying that she was a virgin. But she's also an influencer, quote unquote. She also has her Instagram, her TikTok. She also has a podcast, and she just lets it slip. She lets her experiences slip. She just openly lets it out what her experiences actually are. So let's listen to this virgin, this modest virgin, what she has to say about her history.
So painfully nostalgic for college.
I was popping my and living my best life in these white boy frat houses.
She was living her best life in the white boy frat houses. She's so painfully nostalgic for what? For college. What do you think happens at the white boy frat houses? You think that they are having Bible study in the white boy frat houses? Like, what do you think goes on at these frat houses? So it's a question for you Muslim simps who are so adamant that you're going to send your daughters to college. Maybe you need to familiarize yourself with the white boy frat houses that she's so nostalgic for. And I had to edit and censor some of the words that she was using because it's so explicit. It's so explicit saying what she was doing. Popping her what? That's what she was doing in college. But she's a virgin, guys. She's a virgin. So, again, this is very relevant to the whole Muslim women being sent to college debate. When I say that it's a disaster, we need to stop sending Muslim women to college for many reasons. Primary among them that we don't want to empower women. That's a disaster. But it's also because of all this stuff that happens in colleges. And it's something that is much more dangerous for a woman, for a Muslim woman than a Muslim man. Again, because of incels, because of inceldom. The Muslim men in college are incels. For the most part, they're incels. They want to get married, even if they wanted to do something. The women in college aren't going to be with them. They're going to the white boy frat houses with the jocks, with the football players, with the athletes. That's where they go to. If insofar as the women want to be promiscuous, that's always available to them. But if a man in college wants to be promiscuous, it's a very difficult thing unless he's a Chad, unless he is in the top 10%. He is an athlete. He is tall or whatever. So it's a much bigger danger for women. So you're sending your daughter, okay, and this is a brown woman from the subcontinent with those same values, okay, because Hindus, they also don't want their daughters to be promiscuous and sleeping with people. So similar values as Muslims as far as that's concerned. And this is what they're doing.
I'm actively trying to have an orgy and you haven't seen Nav yet, but wait till you see him. His body goes crazy.
So this is a podcast that she's on. This is her podcast with another Indian woman. And they sit there and they're talking about these subjects. So this is AKAASH'S wife talking about the co-host's husband. her co-host's husband, this is what she's saying about him. About how attractive he is and how she wants to sleep with him.
His face card always slays, never declines. And it's kind of weird because I'm talking about your husband. I just know that Nav's is like at least 10 inches. Okay, I have 2 butthole stories. So one time...
All right, talking about her husband's private parts. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Imagine, like, and so some of you Muslims might be watching this and thinking, oh, this is irrelevant. Muslim women have modesty. We don't have this kind of behavior. Oh, really? Oh, really? Well, I have some more red pilling to do then, if that's what you think. Unfortunately, like, this is something that men don't understand. But when women get together, even Muslim women, when they get together and they start gossiping and they start talking, they get explicit. Unfortunately, they start talking about bedroom issues amongst themselves. The good Muslim women, they don't do this. But unfortunately, even some religious Muslim women, they're going to the masjid, they're praying, and then when they come home and they have their little gathering with other Muslim women, then they start talking about a variety of gossip, and sometimes it includes bedroom issues. What happens in the bedroom? This is real. So if you are married, you need to make sure to tell your wife that not to do that, not to get sucked into that kind of bedroom talk with other Muslim women. Be careful, because it happens. They start talking like that. And guess what? You have Muslim couples who go on double dates. You have Muslim couples who interact socially with each other. So your wife could be looking at these other Muslim men, these other Muslim husbands. Yeah, in America, it is very common with the Muslim community. It's very common. And if you go to one of these masajid, these mega masajid, a lot of them in Dallas, let's call it like it is. In Dallas or LA, increasingly Houston, Tampa, wherever, Washington, D.C., Virginia, a lot of these masajid that cater to kind of middle-class Muslims, American Muslims, there is a rampant zina problem, a rampant marriages breaking up. And it's because of mixing, social mixing between the men and the couples, the married couples, amongst each other. This is happening. It's a disaster. The concept of, hey, just because you're married doesn't mean that you can all get together, men and women in a circle, and have a chat, enjoy each other's company. It's not allowed in Islam. That's mixing. That's ikhtilat. But this is becoming the norm. This has become the norm. And it's for me to speak out against that, that makes me an extremist in their eyes. But where do you think these attractions come up? Where she is talking about in this video, she's talking about her friend's husband and describing wanting to be in the bedroom with him, describing his body, describing literally his private parts and how big or small it is. Like, that's what she's talking about. They're giggling and they're laughing about it. How does that start? It starts when you go on these double dates, when you socialize as a couple. Stop it. Stop. Muslims need to stop this. Okay, I'm specifically talking to American Muslims. It's a disaster waiting to happen. If it hasn't happened already, maybe it's happened and you don't even know about it. So if you are a Muslim man, you will not allow your wife to go and sit socially with other men, even if the other men are married. Don't think that won't happen to you.
I met this guy on Tinder and I made the dumb mistake of letting him sleep over, like not really wanting to hook up. And I woke up in the morning and my asshole was a little sore. Oh my God. And I remember that he
There you go. Okay. She met this guy and invited him over to her apartment. She didn't want to do anything with this guy, she says. But when she woke up, she was sore. Again, you think that this is something that Muslim women wouldn't do? If you tell Muslim women that, hey, go to college, and by the way, you know, you're going to be interacting with these guys. Maybe you're going to have a study partner, and you're studying late, and it's a guy, and maybe he stays over. Maybe he doesn't want to go home. He stays over. And don't worry, it's completely kosher. It's completely halal because he's just staying over. We're not going to do anything. And we have roommates, so it's not even khalwa. Yeah, don't think that this is so ba'id. Like, this is so far from what is happening or could happen with your daughter. Okay, with your daughter or with your wife, your future wife or your current wife. Okay, don't think that this is so bad. This is such a far off idea or possibility. No, it's not. It's not actually. Okay, this is a this person that you're listening to that I've blurred out. She's second generation. Her parents are immigrants. Her parents are immigrants to the West.
And your husband split finances, and I'm going to be really fucking honest.
I don't.
We don't.
First of all, that's fucking red flag. I'm not like, no joke. I love you girls. If you want to work, all for that, whatever. But like any man that doesn't want to have a joint bank account or isn't being transparent with his accounts or has separate accounts, that's fucking red flag. This is not a two-way street. This is a one-way street. His money is our money, and my money is my money. And
I guess she's been listening to some Noman Ali Khan lectures. Right? Right? That's what these simpy moms teach, don't they? Don't they? His money is our money. My money is my money. Oh, that's coming straight out of, Bayina. That's coming straight from Yes Queen Simstitute.
look. Have I only made $600 from content creating?
Wow, I went up $100 from last week.
But that's my money. Okay?
I don't know if you watch The Boys, but I love him on The Boys.
I never watched that show, but like he's on my hall pass list.
Oh yeah.
Chase Crawford, Jacob Elordi, Austin Butler, and who else?
Do you know why?
Yeah, so look at how she's talking. Just complete humiliation. So again, don't think that just because you might think that, well, she's stupid. Like, she claims to be a virgin, but then when she's talking to other people or when she's in public, she kind of lets out the fact that she's not a virgin. In fact, she has all these experiences. And she was living her best life at the white boy frat houses, popping her expletive. Okay, you might think that, well, she's just dumb. But, this is a warning, like, for Muslim women who want to lie about their history. It always comes out. It always comes out. And to the Muslim men too. It always comes out. It might not be on a podcast. It might not be like on that level, but she's going to say something to her friend. Or maybe her friend already knows her history. Her friend already knows her history. And what if they get in a fight and they get upset with each other? That friend, guess what? She's going to go around telling everyone. Okay? It always comes out. So this is a warning, and this is what the simp imams, these retards who are giving fatwa, and I'll name one person specifically, Asam Hakim, okay, this moron, telling women that, oh, you can lie, you can just lie about your history, okay? This is idiotic advice. It's gonna come out. Okay, maybe there are family members who know, and when they get upset, maybe there's a cousin who knows. Maybe it's someone who wanted to get married to her and his proposal didn't get accepted, but he knows her background. Maybe there are photos. Maybe there's video that can be used as a weapon, and it will come out. Or maybe she's just stupid and she's going to reveal it herself at some point. What is that going to do to the marriage? What is that going to do to the man, to the husband? How is he going to feel? What if they have children? Do you see like the 1,000,001 ways that things could go sideways? You think that secret is going to be kept a secret? No, it's going to be revealed. Okay, it's going to come out, and then that's going to be absolute utter destruction. So those simp imams, they're not doing anyone a favor. They're not doing the girls a favor. They're clearly not doing the guys a favor. And this is not what Islam teaches. And you won't find any scholar in history who has said this, that you can lie about your sexual history in order to get married. There's no scholar. This is a modern thing that they've invented. Okay, and even some of the big fatwa councils, they have this fatwa, this wrong, disastrous fatwa. And so Asim Hakim is not inventing this. He's just taking from other fatwa councils. But this is a modern, invented opinion just to shield women from accountability, because you have a bunch of simps. You have a bunch of people who are destroyed or deluded by feminism, and they come out with this fatwa. This is wrong. This is wrong. And look, this is just one example of the disaster that's created. Okay, let's continue.
I think I have like a good marriage. I think it's because my husband's never here.
Akash?
She says, I think I have a good marriage because my husband's never here. Yeah, that's he's providing her with the money. He's the ATM for her, and she can live her best life, reminiscing about all those white frat boys. Or the black guy, or the other guy who made her sore at night. Okay, so let's continue. So now this is another podcast episode where, again, it's the wife and her friend, the co-host, and they have Akash there and the husband of that co-host friend that she was talking about his private parts and saying she wants to sleep with him. Now they're all together discussing. So let's see what they say.
King, like everyone knows he's the best husband, and I don't often find men that measure up to him.
So she's talking about her husband Akash. Many men don't measure up to him. He's a king, except
and like Nav completely measures up to him, if not more.
There's a difference being a scam.
Nav, this is that husband, measures up to him, if not more. So that's the kind of mentality that she has. Like, she can't really hide it. And that's going to be the case with your wife. Okay? Your wife that has all this experience. She was in college. She was in grad school. She was at the workplace. She's seeing all of these men at varying levels of success and wealth and status. And she might not talk about it explicitly with you, but she's thinking about it. It's affected her. She's attracted to that. And sometimes it'll just come out. Sometimes it'll just come out. Her true feelings. So imagine how you're going to feel as a husband. This is why Islam is right about women. Islam is right. All of these restrictions on women that you simps, you Muslim simps, say, oh, this is too much. Oh, no, I mean, this is just cultural. This is not Islam, right? Keeping the woman in the home. Not letting women pursue education, not letting women go to the workplace. Like, this is too much. This is cultural. This is a cultural. Not letting women go like to the masjid, for example. Oh, this is just cultural. Forcing women to cover, not show themselves. Oh, this is just cultural. This is too extreme. Islam, yeah, we have modesty, but don't take it too far. There's a reason. Okay, there's a reason. Allah has put these things in place, has legislated these gender roles and these standards of segregation and hijab and modesty. There's a reason, because if you start eroding this, if you start reducing these restrictions on women, this is what happens to them. They go buck wild. They go buck wild, and they will not only shame themselves, they'll shame you, they'll shame their entire family, their entire tribe, their entire society, their entire religion, because they're Hindus. Like, this Hinduism is already didn't really have the best PR before this. So this is why Islam is right about women. The Taliban is right about women. Okay, let's just put it in ways that you can understand.
Scammer and being a hustler, two very different things.
Okay.
I'm a hustler who scams a little bit. I'm not a scammer who hustles.
I'm not gonna lie, that was sexy, and that's why I'm actively trying to have an orgy.
So this is her friend's husband sitting there, and her husband is right next to him on the right side. That's her husband, Akash. Okay, I blurred everything. Sorry. Okay, I blurred everything because I was too lazy to individually go frame by frame and blur. So Akash is sitting right there, and she's saying, "That's hot." When he speaks, that's hot. And that's why I'm actively trying to sleep with you. Imagine the level of simphood. Like, imagine how little respect she has for her own husband. This is the reality. Like, this is when you allow your wife to be empowered, and then you have some of these Muslim simps who are actively trying to empower their wives by having them go work or get educated or pursue like these high-paying jobs. They're actively empowering their wives. What do you think is going to happen to you? What do you think her image of you and her respect for you, what's going to be the impact of that? Don't you understand hypergamy? So this is just unbelievable, shocking. And, you know, I don't have experience with double dates, like Muslim couples going on double dates, but I imagine this is something that frequently happens, like open flirting. You're sitting with your wife at the restaurant, and across the table is the other Muslim couple, your friend and his wife, and then there's like cross flirting. Your wife is flirting with your friend, the other husband, and vice versa. Imagine like how you're being cucked. Like when you go on a double date, as we see with these American Muslims, unfortunately, you're being actively cucked. Like you might as well pull up the chair in the corner of the hotel room, because that's what's happening. That's where your simping has led you, because you couldn't put your foot down. You couldn't put your woman in the closet. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. And now you're being cucked.
I'm toxic. How do you think I have to keep up with her?
No, he be saying some boss ass. What is the stuff he says to you that I'm just like, that's fire?
Oh, Nav just puts his dad on the table. I'm meeting Nav's dad tomorrow, and I will say I'm nervous because he has not to be weird, but he has big energy, and he's obviously
based off story.
He has big expletive energy. Interesting. Interesting. Saying that right in front of her husband.
Yeah, he's a Don. Let's face it.
Yes.
It's just like, I need to make sure I'm on my P's and Q's tomorrow.
So do me a favor, to all my brown girls who are starting college, you actually don't have to
Advice for the brown girls going to college. Listen up, ladies. Listen up, brown girls.
date the first guy that gives you attention. And believe me, I know I'm speaking from experience because I was super sheltered in high school, didn't really date, was a late bloomer. So when I got to high school, I was like, when I got to college, I was like, oh my God, it's like open season. And like all these guys are like starting to give me attention.
I was sheltered in high school. I was not experienced, and then I went to college, and it was open season. So she's describing what I told you. Like, don't give attention to the first guy who pays attention to you. Don't, like, go for that. No, meaning go for the Chad. Like, play the field. Play the field. You don't want to just settle with the first guy. You want to play the field. Get some experience under your belt, literally. And go for find the Chad. Find the best that you can get. Shop around. Like, this is her advice to the brown girls, okay? College, it's going to be open season, as she describes.
And like everyone's being so social, and literally like the first guy I met on the first day I moved in, I ended up dating him on and off for a year. Why? You don't have to settle for someone's crusty, dusty son. Like,
you don't have to settle for someone's crusty, dusty son. You don't have to settle. When you're in college, you're young. The world is your oyster. Just go and play the open field. Get some experience. Like, okay. Like, you think that your daughter is not listening to podcasters like this? Is not getting advice like this? Your sweet little hijabi daughter that you're about to send off to college so that she can get an education. So she can be educated. Like, that's your daughter. Okay, you don't think that there's going to be people like this in her ear? If not already.
settle in, get your friend group going, see like where you kind of vibe, and then maybe like wait for the third guy or like the fifth guy that gives you attention, and then like maybe you can like go for that. Because
the third or the fifth, the third guy, the fifth guy, maybe it's going to take more than 5. Maybe it's going to be the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, the 20th, the 30th, the 50th. That's literally the advice here. So yeah, why settle? You have plenty of time. College is as 4 years, you know, and then you have graduate school, and then you're gonna work. Like, you have plenty of time. Plenty of time. Don't settle for that dusty, crusty brown guy, that brown Muslim. Like, no. Gotta spread your wings.
I think, like, especially brown girls who grow up really sheltered, it's just like so fun to be in this new environment, to be without your parents, to be like living in dorms and like co-ed situations. And
so fun. Living in a co-ed situation in the dorms and your parents aren't there. So much fun. Get to your third, your fourth, your fifth guy. Ignore the crusty, dusty Muslims in the MSA. Okay, ignore the crusty, dusty Muslims that are, you know, that your family suggests or that your family might know. No, you know, you're in the dorm now. You're in college. You had a sheltered life. You need to spread your wings. So, yeah, this is the brown girls, okay? The brown girls. And this is not a South Asian phenomenon. Like, let's be honest. Arabs, too. A lot of these Arab girls also have the same exact mentality. And Somali as well. Okay, let's even talk about the African sisters. Unfortunately. Like, go to one of these college campuses. That has a Muslim population. Go and see for yourself if you don't believe me.
Get the excitement, but don't settle. Like, learn more about yourself before you kind of just like lock yourself down in a situation with a relationship that like probably like won't last that long anyways, because it's usually just like puppy love and, you know, all that stuff. But I'm saying that with the best of intentions. It's gonna be like so much fun. I feel like I had so many fun memories in college, so yeah.
So much fun, so many fond memories, you know, build that up so that later when you are with the crusty, dusty husband in your 30s, then you have something to look back on and have that nostalgia. Oh, I had so much fun. Oh, the fun that I had. Oh, and you can, you know, reminisce about that when you're with your crusty, dusty husband who was a virgin when he married you. Like, you want to build up that memory base, that stash, you know, for the hard times, the famine that's going to come after you get married. That's the advice, okay? This is girl advice, by the way. It's not like she's inventing this or this is unique to the kind of girl advice that's being given. This is common knowledge amongst these women. Okay, this is common idea that they share with each other, that they encourage each other with these kinds of behaviors. You're not aware of this? You can also go like to Reddit. Go to Reddit. Go to some of these hijabi forums. Go to some of these Muslim women forums. Look at how they talk. They hate Muslim men. Okay, they really hate Muslim men. The more religious, that's the more hate that they have for Muslim men. You know, if you don't believe me, go and check it out. Go to these forums. That's why it's so hard for me to believe that in the year 2025, there are still all these simps. Like, I could understand if it were 2014, you know, or 2013, back when I was talking about the dangers of feminism and the destruction of feminism and how it's really rotting the minds of our Muslim women. If you didn't accept that back in 2014, 12 years ago, 11 years ago, okay, fine. There might be an excuse there. But in 2025, you're still a simp in 2025? There's no excuse. There's no excuse for being a simp in 2025. I'm sorry. Or almost 2026. It's just you should be shamed. Like, you should be shamed, you should be ridiculed, you should be mocked. Anyone who's watching, all you Muslim skeptic fans, like, don't let these simps show their faces anymore. Like, simp imams. There needs to be non-stop mockery, just straight up saying that this is unacceptable. Like, you're destroying our future, okay? You're destroying the future of Muslim men, the young Muslim men who they want to get married. They want to have a wife who hasn't been passed around like some cheap basketball. Okay, they want a wife who is actually a virgin, who's actually modest, who actually aspires to these virtues in Islam. That's what we want, and we're just not going to get it. The young Muslim men just aren't going to get it because of what is being spread and what is these Muslim women, how they're being empowered. All right, so now this has been the viral controversy. Akash has been mocked to no end. He's been insulted. Like millions of people are talking about how much of a simp he is and how his wife doesn't respect him, treats him like trash, literally talks about the genitalia of other men in front of him. And he's too weak of a man to be able to keep things in control. So then yesterday, they tried to do some damage control. So Akash is the co-host of a podcast called The Flagrant Podcast. It's mostly just trash in this podcast. You're not missing much if you don't know about it. But you have Akash, and they bring his wife to clear up the air. This is 3 weeks after all of this was released, 3 weeks after all of this has been exposed and it's gone viral. It took them 3 weeks to figure out our grand strategy is to have a conversation, all of us together, on this podcast with Akash's wife. And so she has to explain when she was saying that she was popping her expletive and living her best life in the white boy frat houses, and that she wants to have some bedroom time with her co-host husband. She has to explain that now. So you tell me if this explanation that she gives is convincing or not.
You can correct me if I'm wrong here.
Yeah.
Is it true that you said that there was a rotation of guys?
A roster.
Roster.
Yeah, what does a roster mean to you?
What does this mean?
You guys have to understand, have you ever heard of the repressed Catholic schoolgirl?
Never.
I was, you know. Okay. So I was,
his Catholic school was in his living room. Imagine how repressed he was.
I was a repressed Indian girl that I didn't even watch Jersey Shore in high school because I felt it to be too inappropriate. So when I got to college, I'm like, oh my God, I can dress however I want. I can do whatever I want.
You can have a roster of frat boys.
But
what does a roster mean?
So it didn't actually translate to a roster. It just meant like 2 guys I was talking to and flirting with at the same time. That's it.
That's all.
Yeah.
And when you say hooking up.
So this is Akash listening to this. How much of this does he believe? So again, she was a repressed little girl, and then she goes to college, and she can dress however she wants. She can do whatever she wants. There's no parents around, right? So the roster of guys that she's talking about is just 2 guys that she flirts with or kisses. That's what we're supposed to believe.
I think people
when
think
I mean hooking up, I just meant making out. Again, like everything I say is so amplified and hyperbolic because it's so like incongruous to who I actually am as a person.
Right. So you're.
So what she says is not actually who she is. First of all, do women have multidimensionality? Let's be honest here. Is that true? With men, yeah, you have a kind of sophistication, or you have layers, you have depth with a lot of guys. But let's be honest, with women, you're on a podcast, you have your own little TikTok, you're constantly talking about, in very candid moments, how much you enjoy being with a roster of guys. But that's not actually who you are. You're actually very reserved. You're a very modest, reserved inside, in the depths of your heart. You're such a, this is like some of these Muslim simps, actually, these Muslim simps where you criticize, some of us are criticizing the haram police, are telling some of these women online, Muslim women, hey, we don't care about your opinion. You don't even wear a proper hijab. We don't care about your women, about your opinion, because you're dancing on TikTok and you're being immodest. Cover yourself up, woman. Stop acting like a whore. The haram police are making these comments on social media, and then you have the simps coming out and say, you don't know what's in her heart. Maybe she's praying tahajjud every night in prayer, begging Allah. You don't know. She has a golden heart, pure as snow. Isn't that the simps that come out? Because what they say, the way that women behave on the outside, when they're dancing on TikTok and their faces are all made up with, they spend hours with the makeup, foundation, and eyeliner, getting the eyeliner, getting the eyebrows perfectly formed, the lip gloss, the lipstick, lip gloss, whatever it is. Hours, and then they come on Instagram or on TikTok, and they're talking, giving you Islamic advice. That's not who they are. Internally, they don't care about beauty. They don't care about looks. They're not actually looking for attention. Inside their hearts, it might seem that way. It might seem from their appearance that they're just attention whores, and they want to glamour themselves up and put the glamour photos online for men to gawk at. That might be the appearance of what they're doing, but actually the deeper reality. Like, I guess you're just not a true Sufi to understand. You're not actually doing enough tazkiyah to appreciate the hidden dimensions of these attention whores, these women on Insta and Snapchat and TikTok, the Muslima, the Muslimat, the Sheikhas. Like, you don't have that husn al-dhan. You need to go listen to another Omar Suleiman lecture. You need to go and sit at the feet of Mufti Menk and take another course at Yes Queen Simstitute. That's what you need, because you don't understand. Now, our sisters, they have hearts of gold, pure as snow. Isn't that the case? So this is exactly the dynamic that we're seeing here, and it's hilarious that the non-Muslims are recognizing that this is a joke. Let's continue.
Saying you're a big old prude.
Yeah, literally. One of our fans.
She's a big old prude. She's a prude at heart, inside. just like these Muslimat, the sheikhas online.
Asked us, would you guys have an orgy? So I just said, I'm actively trying, like, as a joke. Now, looking back, like, it's been pointed out to me, and I get that. I feel like for us, I think I learned so much of my humor from Akash, not to like justify it, but just to explain, like, if I say these absurd things, it's so funny because it's not who I actually am.
Right.
But I kind of forgot that like the internet doesn't know all these multi-dimensions of my personality, so they're just seeing this one thing.
Right.
So the orgy joke started with like Akash being like, Nav's really hot. Like Akash would show Nav's picture to his trainer or whatever, because he's like really like, ripped or whatever.
I will say also, if she had a body count, I would have been like, hey, cut that. But because she doesn't, and I know how like innocent she actually is.
Oh, you are a virgin? That's real?
I was a virgin until I met him, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Really? Whoa. I can't even believe it. So I don't know why they thought that this would be a good idea. Like this would actually control the damage. I don't know what was going through their heads that they thought that this was gonna blow over well for them, but it's just completely ridiculous. Like they're not even credulous. Like they don't even believe her in this podcast. Like their voices. You're actually sticking by that you're a virgin. Even they can't believe it. They can't pretend to believe it. Like their voice betrays them. And Akash saying, if I knew that she had a body count, I wouldn't have done it. Yeah, okay. If you knew that, you in that separate clip, you were bragging about taking her, like stealing her from the black man. So I don't know, like what kind of levels of delusion is Akash operating? Like you have to have that level of cognitive dissonance. You have to have that level of cognitive dissonance because I think it's plausible that Akash was a virgin. I think that he was a virgin. And maybe that was because of his religious background or his family background or cultural background, like whatever it may be. Or he's just an incel, like he tried, but he's just too short. He's just too ugly. Like maybe that's what caused him to be an incel. So then you get married, like fine, you get married to someone. And then the truth is that she's been around the block a few times. Like, how do you reconcile that in your mind? Like, how do you avoid just hating yourself, hating her, being completely messed up mentally, psychologically? You have to kind of start gaslighting yourself. You have to say, yeah, she was a virgin. And yeah, the guy that she was with was a virgin as well. And in college, yeah, she was the frat boys. They were just kissing. Even that, like, as a Muslim, like, if your wife is like smooching, That's the word that we have in United States English is smooching, and apparently in the UK they call it snogging. Is it snogging? What's the UK term? I didn't know this term until I went on a trip to the UK and they were talking about snogging in the closet. I was like, what is snogging? Is it snogging? Well, they're like, oh, it just means smooching. I was like, oh, okay, smooching. So your wife has been snogging every other guy. So that also is a huge disaster. Like that also, because how is it possible to just be snogging with multiple guys? And you're telling me it doesn't lead to any kind of zina? Really? Okay. If you believe that, you can believe anything. Snogging. Yeah. So this is he's mentally destroyed. Psychologically, like he's living in a delusion.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah.
And if she wasn't, that body count thing, I'd have been like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Because I would have been insecure about it. But I can be, not that I'm so secure, but with that joke, I'm like so secure.
Oh, I absolutely would feel insecure.
And I think stupidly, I was like, oh, it's an orgy, so it's all of us. It's not like talking.
Yeah, that is stupid.
Yeah.
I say you're being inclusive. You're being inclusive.
I thought I was being inclusive.
It's not a before we.
The only one who's not laughing is Akash. He's right there in the white, sitting there. Everyone is laughing, having a good time. Even he's being cucked. Even in this damage control podcast, he's being cucked. He's there like this. He can't even hide his emotions, and they're all like uproariously laughing. It is stupid when you're talking about the size of the penis of this guy in front of your house. It is stupid. Yeah, they're all having a good laugh. They're all enjoying themselves. Here, let's replay it.
Feel insecure.
And I think stupidly, I was like, oh, it's an orgy, so it's all of us. It's not like talking.
Yeah, that is stupid.
Yeah.
I say you're being inclusive. You're being inclusive.
I thought I was being inclusive.
It's not a. Before we wrap this up, was there anything that you saw? Was there anything that, like, obviously all the things I imagine made you feel bad. Was there anything that specifically bothered you, or
I mean, I think people talking about the sore butt story, because that was more kind of like an assault story, but I didn't want to label it as such because I didn't.
So now the story where she invited a guy to sleep in the same bed as her in college, and then she woke up sore. Now it's about assault. Oh, that's interesting, because it was a joke. You were joking about it in the podcast when you were talking about with your co-host, with your girlfriend. Now it's assault. So you see the move that they make. They're the victims. You know, these women are the victims. So don't be surprised. And again, you have the simps who say, believe all women. We have to believe all women because it's impossible for women to lie. It's impossible for women to lie. So you have many cases actually, of women coming out and saying that, oh, I was manipulated, I was spiritually abused, and so imam, he took advantage of me. He took advantage. In reality, it was just like a marriage. It was like a second marriage that you consented to, that you agreed to. But after the fact, when things don't pan out the way that you want, or you get, asked about it, oh, it was assault. He assaulted me. He manipulated me. It was spiritual abuse. Oh, I'm such a victim. Okay, so same pattern. Unfortunately, like you think that, again, these are just non-Muslims, so how is it relevant for us? Everything here, every step of this is exactly relevant to, unfortunately, what we see in the Muslim community. Sadly, I mean, this is the bitter truth. You want to put your head in the sand and ignore it, or you want to wake up and call it out and call out the people who are facilitating it. Call out the simp imams and the simp institutes, the simpstitutes that are facilitating this, okay? Because it doesn't happen overnight. It's a step-by-step process. It's a step-by-step process for the Muslim women of the Muslim community to turn out like this, to turn out exactly like this, and for the Muslim men to turn out like Akash as the uber ultimate simp being laughed at by the whole world. The ultimate cuck being laughed at by the whole world. Step by step, if you follow the guidance, the misguidance of these institutions and these figures, this is where it leads. This is where it leads, step by step.
Think it was super traumatizing, and I had already shared one.
Right.
And I feel like the internet has a quota for girls of like how many assault stories they could share, regardless of if it's true or not. Like, obviously, I didn't.
You think the internet would be like, oh, every story she tells us, she's
that's
getting
why
assaulted.
I didn't want to do that. So I was like, oh, this happened. I didn't really say it's okay.
So what happened, if you don't mind saying?
Well, I mean, so I was living in San Francisco, working on
Definitely
my
a
internship.
butt thing would happen there. Not shocking at all.
Yeah.
This is like when Tinder first came out. There was no Bumble, there was no Hinge. I met this guy on Tinder, whatever. Like, we were like just feeling like the vibes, and
She's a virgin, by the way, looking through Tinder, like going through Tinder. That's what we're supposed to believe. And again, like, unfortunately, there are Muslim women on Tinder. Like, young Muslim women are on Tinder. They are on these apps, and they're looking for hookup. Yeah.
stupidly was like, oh, you can sleep over, but like not really wanting to hook up that much. Because again, for me, like I was just like, okay, maybe we can make out and just like whatever and cuddle. But then I guess he like wanted.
Was this guy Indian?
No, he was like Asian.
He took it very differently than, I've learned this translation.
Wait, what do you mean?
An Indian guy might understand what an Indian girl means when she says we're hooking up. It doesn't mean we're
conservative.
I think most American people
I was thrown off by her inviting him over. Because when I've been invited over, that usually means, oh, we're fucking.
No, I know. That was, again, stupid decision on my part. I was like 21. So it's like, I really just like, I don't know, like I just was making bad decisions all around. So it's like, but I was like.
Just inviting him over to cuddle, to make out, to kiss, to snog, and cuddle. Under the sheets. Okay.
Hey, like we'll kiss, whatever. I don't remember, honestly, I don't even remember too much, but I just remember him like trying to like sneak a finger, and I was like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
But like then the next day, like it was like kind of feeling sore, but it wouldn't, like if it had been anything else, it would, that would have been a whole other story. It would have been like, it would have teared something,
Yeah.
So it was just like that.
So this was a creep pervert that was trying you.
So this is his face while she's talking about this. Look at this guy's face. Look at those eyes, bloodshot from crying, I guess. Look at his face while she's describing all of her experiences. Yeah, so this is your future. Like, take a picture, like take a screen grab. This is your future as a simp. Take a good look. Take a good look. So what's the over-under on the divorce happening within the next few months? Within 6 months' time? Seems like it's very likely. But the crazy thing is that even if they get divorced, she's going to destroy him. She's going to get... Because I think they've been married for over a year. It's not like they're newlyweds. She's gonna really destroy him in divorce court and get his property, half of his property. Maybe he's gonna have to pay alimony. Okay, he's gonna have to pay alimony, a monthly stipend. And because of his high income, because he's an entertainer or a stand-up comedian or whatever, a big percentage of his income monthly is going to go to her, his ex-wife. That's alimony, okay? That's alimony. So that's what he has to look forward to. Or he can just stay in the marriage. He can just stay in the marriage until she decides that, okay, I'm done with this simp and I want a divorce. And she can demand a divorce. And she can claim, he was abusive. He raised his voice at me that one time. He spoke to me in a condescending way. And actually, he put me through a lot of trauma when all of this came out, and we were really stressed, and he actually raised his voice at me, and he forced me to come on his podcast, the Flagrant Podcast, and his co-hosts berated me and laughed at me, and that was so much emotional trauma that he put me through, so he actually abused me. And she's gonna get a lot from that settlement, from that divorce settlement. She's gonna get alimony. And again, alimony is not a part of Islam, but now you have Yasser Qadi and Hatem al-Hajj and these simps. You have Amja actually putting their rubber stamp, the Assembly of Muslim Jurists of North America, one of these fatwa institutions, putting their rubber stamp on alimony payments, creating no-fault divorce. Okay, if she wants a divorce, that's her right. She has a right to divorce in Islam. Oh, really? Is this something that you invented? Because your feminist wife is whipping you, the mufti, behind closed doors, and so you're coming out with this no-fault divorce in Islam and alimony payments? Is it because your wife is like whipping you behind closed doors? You're like actually completely dominated by your little hijabi wife? Is that why you're coming out with this fatwa, destroying like Muslim marriages? Maybe it's just speculation on my part, but this is the state of Muslims adopting feminism, and I'm showing you the future. I'm showing you arguably the present, but also the future of Muslims if they don't shape up, if they don't cut off feminism at the root. Stop being simps. Stop being simps. So yeah, that's our show. Let me look at your super chats and respond to them. Lesboy, this username just makes me laugh. Lesboy says, Hindu mythology and its consequences are disastrous. Yes, but also this is not related to Hinduism. This is just, unfortunately, feminism and simping. Jasleen, that's the wife, and a lot of Sikh women in the West are similar. Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, a lot of Muslim women are similar too. Like, that's the reality. Samd says, you covering Muhammad hijab today? You edged it last show. Okay, I can cover that. Let me do some of these super chats and then we'll look at the Muhammad hijab clip. It's kind of relevant. It's kind of related to this feminism issue. Max Macmillion's disciple says, can you tackle the argument that Muslims repeat that first and second wave feminism were fine and congruent with Islam, but not fourth wave feminism? Yeah, this is completely wrong. First wave feminism, from the very beginning, feminism was anti-religion, anti-tradition. The first wave feminists, like Harriet Beecher Stowe, for example, or Elizabeth Cady Stanton, for example, they hated the church, they hated Christianity, and they hated God. Like, they openly said that they hated God. They hated religion. And this was in the 19th century. So we're talking about 150 years ago. That was the first wave of feminism. And what they were advocating was what? Was women's empowerment politically. They were suffragettes. They wanted the women to have the right to vote. And again, this is contrary to Islam. Like, why should women have any political say? Why should women have any political power? It's not clear that this is consistent with Islam. There's a lot to say that it's inconsistent with Islam, that women shouldn't have any kind of political influence at that level. So even the first wave, the second wave, is crazy to think that the second wave of feminism is consistent with Islam, because by the second wave, they're talking about how marriage is essentially rape. Like, when women get married, they're being raped. Even if they consent to the marriage, the power differential between men and women in society means that women cannot consent to getting married. It's not informed consent. Women are suffering in the patriarchal society, are suffering from false consciousness. And therefore, this is why they're the second sex. Until we destroy the patriarchy, all marriage is rape. And the only valid type of marriage a woman can have is with another woman in a lesbian relationship. That's why many of the second wave feminists were actual lesbians. Like Andrea Dworkin, for example. or Shelley Muth Firestone, the Jewish feminist. Dworkin is also Jewish, coincidentally. So yeah, there's no wave of feminism that was ever congruent with any aspect of Islam. Anyone who tells you differently is a simp, is an ignorant simp. Macmillan's disciple says, Pew says Muslims in America are 45% unmarried. I haven't seen those numbers. Would not be surprising. End sentence says, being resilient is lost on many men. Women have been enabled to do what they want, hence our predicament. P.S. Trader Yasser Abu Shabab is dead. Yeah, that was good news to hear that Wahhabi got what he deserved. Being resilient is lost on many men. I agree. Men need to be more resilient, and they need to actually be kings. You know, they tell women that, oh, queen, slay, like that's the kind of message that women give each other. Well, men also need to be kings. You need to be king of your household. You need to be king of your family. You need to be king in the ummah, in the masajid, in the communities. You need to put your foot down and not allow these foreign ideologies to dictate how we treat women, how we treat our children, how we treat our families, how we treat our communities, how we establish laws. Like, you need to be a king in the sense of you follow Allah and His Messenger. You're not influenced by these outside ideologies. You have to be resilient. Amr says, is this man and his wife Muslim? No, they're not. As I mentioned, they are Hindu, I believe, but there are parallels with the Muslim community. Vortex Future says, maybe it would sound wrong, but looking at modern women, I'm glad I was born gay. It's not even worth trying to change. Yeah, you need to change for sure. But I mean, I'm sympathetic to the idea that modern women is just such a disaster. Because of the legal system, like, you're setting yourself up for such a disaster when you get married. Even if you're even if you're a based Muslim man and you're going to hold it down as a king, the legal system handicaps you. The legal system is not going to allow you to actually live a traditional life. And it's mainly because of no-fault divorce, mainly because of the way that they define domestic abuse. Like, you as a husband, if you say that, well, my money is my money, and I'm going to pay for you as my wife, I'm going to provide you with a nafaqah, I'm going to provide you with what you need to live, but my money is still my money, that is considered domestic abuse. You're abusing your wife. This is called financial abuse. And it's actually legally actionable. Like, she can take you to court for that. You can face legal consequences for that abuse. So the legal system, no matter how based and red-pilled and Chad you are, the legal system will still destroy you because the legal system is based on feminism. Whether it's no-fault divorce, whether it's child custody, another tool that they can use to destroy you, take your children away from you, prevent you from seeing your own children. So why you have like the Father Support Forum, the Muslim Father Support Forum in the UK. Might as well shout them out. They're doing a lot of good work trying to help these Muslim fathers who the Muslim women are blocking them from seeing their own children. This is unbelievable levels of oppression that men have to suffer. And the only solution is Islam. The only solution is an Islamic system, the Sharia. And this is the irony, like, if I can make this point, it's a very important point that I want to make for you, is that look at the online comments. All the people online are calling Akash a simp. All of them are saying his wife is extremely problematic. They're all understanding, everyone that you see in the comments understands that this is a disaster. Like, this is humiliation that you cannot even imagine. Everyone is on the same page on that. No one is saying, or hardly anyone other than the hardcore feminists are saying that, oh, she's in the right. No, everyone agrees that she's in the wrong and this is a disaster, and Akash is culpable because he simped for so long. So people recognize that, but what's the solution? I don't see any people saying that, well, we need to stop sending women to college. I don't see that kind of prescription being made. I don't see anyone saying, well, we need to keep women in the home. I don't see anyone saying that we need to stop ikhtilat, like mixing, like we need gender segregation, like strict gender segregation, strict gender roles, stop empowering women. Like I don't see those kinds of prescriptions being made by the non-Muslims. So the non-Muslims are in this desperate situation, or they're in this situation where they recognize that this is a terrible disaster, but they don't have a solution, and they can't even conceive of a solution to this. So what are women supposed to do? Like, what are future men supposed to do to prevent their wives being having all this experience? Like, what can men do? You're laughing about it. You're laughing about Akash, but that's potentially your future as well. That's potentially your future as well, because you can't, like, the thing is that when you have this system, like, you can't just tell women, oh, just be more modest. Like, oh, just be less slutty. That's not going to work. Like, that's not going to actually change people's behavior. What changes people's behavior is when you change the structure of society. Like, you create a different structure and you have different practices, different behaviors that you institutionalize. And if you violate those norms of behavior, there has to be punishments for that. There has to be consequences for that. Like, that is the kind of society that prevents Akash and his wife. That's that whole situation. It has to be a systematic, global type of top-down approach that fundamentally re-engineers society back to the traditional model that humans have enjoyed for most of their history, 99% of their history, until the feminist movement popped up and liberalism popped up, thanks to the enlightened white man, the enlightened white European who unleashed this with their Jewish partners on the entire world. That's what we have to roll back the clock. No one is talking about that. No one is calling for rolling back the clock. No one is saying that women need to not be empowered. Women should not be educated or sent to college. No one is saying that. They can only laugh and giggle and think that that's the situation that happened to Akash is not going to happen to them. And that's where Muslims are different. That's where Muslims can say, no, we have a Sharia. We have traditions that have been preserved. We have a model of family and marriage and society and community that can prevent this disaster. We just have to have the conviction. We just have to have the confidence in our deen and to understand that this is guidance from Allah to actually implement that, to actually live by that, to actually enforce that. And the fact that we don't is more shameful. We are in a more shameful position than these non-Muslims. These non-Muslims don't even have guidance. They don't even have the guidance of the Quran and the Sunnah and the traditions that have been passed down through our Islamic scholarly tradition. They don't even have that. So they don't have an excuse. What's our excuse? What's our excuse when we have that and we don't implement it and we're still simping? We're still simping. We're still talking about, oh, the empowered sheikhas, and oh, we have to educate our daughters, and oh, we can't be prudish about these things. That's just cultural, to separate our women, to segregate them, and oh, every masjid needs to have women in the main prayer space, in the main musalla. Like, all of these things that the Sims have been pushing, like, what's our excuse? Arya Nergini says, Daniel, I was waiting for you to mention how actually worse it is for our women to have smartphones and social media accounts. That's where all the warm-up happens before our daughters get popped. Yeah, because they are messaging, they're on social media, posting their pictures, they're dancing on TikTok, looking cute today with my hijab, perfectly wrapped. And they're getting DM'd. They're getting DM'd, and they'll ignore 99% of the DMs, but they're the Chad, the Chad that messages them starts talking back and forth in the DMs. Where do you think that leads? Then they go to college. And then you're not even there to monitor that or to watch that. So, yeah, unfortunately, parents themselves are destroying their children. Jalaluddin Rumi says, brother, do you have any advice for young men who want to get married and avoid such women with history? I am getting proposals, but I'm hesitant to proceed. Just look at their background. Like, again, like she says that she's been in college in the dorm by herself. Okay, that's a red flag. And I'm not saying that that's disqualifying necessarily. Like, maybe there are other factors that will mitigate the danger or the possibility that she fell into a problem, fell into zina. But it's a red flag. But then she went to graduate school, and then she was also alone. Then she had her apartment. She was working in the corporate world, and she's, you know, has these male colleagues. Like, these are all red flags, one after the other after the other. So if you want to get married, okay, marry someone young. That's literally the advice. Like, marry someone young, marry someone who is not from the Western environment. Okay? Marry someone who's not from the Western environment. If you want to absolutely guarantee, you need to find someone in a society where they actually lock down women and prevent them from mixing. Now, you have to go to such a society where the girls, the women there, they know that if they are caught snogging, or they're smooching, or they're caught being on Tinder, or they're caught being on Snapchat, then there's severe consequences. Like, that kind of society. And they're few and far between, unfortunately, but that's another way that you can guarantee. If you want to get absolute guarantee, and I'm not saying that there aren't good Muslim women that exist in the West. There are, but unfortunately, I'll be honest with you, there's always going to be that kind of question, that lingering question, and you have to find ways to mitigate that. So I wish I had a solution for you. But yeah, do your investigation, do your due diligence. What actually is her history? Is she on social media? I mean, that's a easy way that you can tell, is if she's on social media, and what is she posting on social media? Okay, who are her friends? Do you have any family contacts? Like, this is also why arranged marriages will mitigate this problem too, because the whole point of or one of the big draws of the arranged marriage is that it's families that are involved with each other. And so, like, your parents will know her parents, and your parents might even have seen her growing up. You'll know the friend group, you'll know the social contacts, you'll know the social network. And that also helps mitigate the risk, the potential that she has a history, like, is through arranged marriage. So that's the best approach, honestly, is marriage through families setting something up. But I understand that for many Muslim men, especially those living in the West, that's not an option. Or for converts, like, it's not an option. So there are other ways that you can mitigate. Aryan Nergini says, the heaviest factor leading our daughters to zina is their social media presence through DMs, those who post their own pictures. Mind talking about this too. I just did. Donner says, Assalamu alaikum, brother Daniel. I'm struggling to learn Islam. I'm looking for a teacher. Can you help me? Inshallah. Barakallahu feek. May Allah bless you. Wa alaikum assalam. Donner, if you're looking for a teacher, as I say, go try to look in the local masajid. Try to find a local teacher who can teach you the fara'id, the fard ain knowledge, what you need to be a Muslim in terms of belief and practice. And that's what I can recommend to you. If you want someone to teach you online, here it is. Here's MuslimSkeptic. If you want that kind of instruction on Islam, what Islam has to say about these social issues, then online, we have MuslimSkeptic. We have Al-Asna Institute, another online learning platform that you can sign up for. Abdullah says, it's funny when you impersonate the simps, but brother, what's up with Genius of Islam episode 4? We can start a fund to complete it if it's needed. It's not lack of funding that is holding it back. It's just me being busy with a lot of stuff. That's the delay. Super Parson says, once a tree falls, it doesn't fall again. One loss doesn't stand alone. It lost as time goes on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave Adam alayhi salam, but the thing he did go back to the day before. We are here now being tested. One loss doesn't stand alone. It lost as time goes on. Not sure what that is referring to. It's talking about virginity. I'm not sure. Last word says, LOL, his idea of clearing this up equals her talking to his besties about being with other men and going into explicit detail in front of him in public. Yeah, again, like just no guidance, like no hikmah, no sense. Like when you live that kind of lifestyle and you turn your back on God, like expect these types of problems. Yeah, it's like they've just added fuel to the fire. Like it's more of a disaster now that they have talked about it more. If they just ignored it and pretended like nothing took place, like that would have been better than what they're actually doing. Oh, Super Parson clarifies, Allah forgave Adam, but things didn't go back to the way they were. We are here now being tested. The consequence of that action is irreversible. Yeah, that's a good point. So this idea that you ask for forgiveness and then your slate is wiped clean, that's true. Forgiveness does, in the book of Allah, if it's accepted forgiveness and your tawbah is accepted, then that wipes your slate clean in the book of Allah. But that doesn't mean that in the books of human beings, you are the same as you were before you committed a crime or committed a sin. And there are examples like of people in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that they confessed to committing zina. They confessed and they made tawbah, but the punishment was still implemented on them. Why? Like if they are confessing to that and they're repentant that I committed zina, I repent from that. Why did they still get punished? Why were they lashed or why were they stoned? Despite having been asking for forgiveness and being repentant. It's because, yeah, in this, and the Prophet ﷺ informed us that for some of them that Allah has forgiven them. Allah has forgiven them. So their slate is clean in the book of Allah, but the punishment was still implemented. So we have to keep that in mind. And this is why the fatwa of these simp imams that, oh, she can lie about her history because she's just like a virgin in your book. No, that's not how it works, actually. Super Parson says, I'll never drink water that has a drop of urine. That's your preference, and you're entitled to your preference, brother. You're entitled to your preference, and don't let anyone shame you for that. Don't let anyone shame you and say that you're not stepping up and you're less of a man, you're not masculine because you're not going to drink from the cup that has urine in it. Don't let anyone shame you, brother. Because that's what they do. They say that you have, just because that you want to marry a virgin, that means that you're somehow less secure as a man, and that, oh, but the Prophet ﷺ this and the Prophet ﷺ that. Didn't you know that Khadija was previously married and he married Khadija? Yeah, okay, but what about his other wives? Tayyiba says, colleges have become dangerous, but what do you think about the schools where they've already started teaching LGBTQ plus at young ages? Take your kids out of those places. Take your kids out of those schools. Homeschool. That's what I'm telling you to do. That's my message. Homeschool. Don't keep your kids in such places. Like, you're actively going to put your kids to learn from shayateen. Like, is that smart? What do you think is going to result from that? I can't believe, like, some Muslims, I'm not saying this sister, Tayyiba, is making this mistake, but other parents, I'm just shocked. I'm shocked that you want to roll the dice. You want to roll the dice with your children. You send them to these schools that you know are problematic, and then you send them to college. You're just rolling the dice with your children's future. It's like you don't even care. Abdullah says, so many people in the comments saying men are also a problem and these are kuffar, not Muslim issues. What say you? I addressed all of this. It is a Muslim issue. It's potentially a Muslim issue as well. It is a Muslim issue, and for many, it is a potential Muslim issue. Number one. Number two, I already explained why the men in college are incels. The majority of men in college are incels is much more dangerous for women simply because of human nature. I explained this. If you have a bunch of people who don't understand it, just rewind it and try to play it slowly. Like, you have a speed setting I already talk slow. I'm a slow talker. I acknowledge that. But take the speed setting in YouTube, instead of 1x speed, put it on 0.25 speed so that it's much slower, 1/4 the speed, and then listen to what I'm saying so it actually penetrates into that thick skull. Vortex says, what do you think about those Christian movements trying to rebrand LGBT as a simple same-sex attraction struggle? I think it's gaining momentum. Yeah, there's a lot of problems with their rebranding. Like the Christians are the masters of simping and cuckery to such an extent that they even simp beyond women. Now they're simping for Qawm Lut. They're simping for LGBT, for these homosexuals, and they're trying to find a way. How can we just make them feel more comfortable? How can we make them feel, like they belong? This is wrong. Like Qawm Lut, like if you have these desires, this is a disaster. Like you need to change yourself to the best of your ability. You need to not have these desires, and yeah, you should definitely not act on those desires. This is the most shameful crime that you can commit, and in Islam, you know the punishment for that. You know what Allah did to Qawm Lut. Like that's how severe the crime is. So we're not going to coddle you like the Christians. We're not going to coddle you and say that, oh, you poor little baby, oh, you're struggling. Like, guess what? Like everyone's struggling. Like all these college Muslims, by the way, the Muslim men, the incels, they're incels. Okay, they're not having. They have opposite sex attraction to women, and they can't exercise that or they can't pursue that because the women are not marrying them. So you're not different. Like if you have same sex attraction and you go, oh well, but eventually they'll get married. Well, first of all, you don't know if some of these Muslim men are eventually going to get married. Or if they do, they're going to have to settle for women who have experience, like AKAASH'S wife. They're not going to get exactly what they want. So why do you have to get exactly what you want? The Muslim man who is struggling from same-sex desire or same-sex attraction or whatever term they want to use, why are you more of a victim? Like, why are you more of a sob story that we have to have like a cry sesh about? Like, I don't agree with this kind of coddling. You're not a bigger victim than anyone else. Okay, you have a certain desire. That everyone has desires that they can't actually pursue. Even married men have desires that they can't pursue. Control yourself. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Yeah, so that's that. Let's talk about Muhammad hijab real quick, since I promised. Let me see. What is the video? I have to pull up this video. What did Muhammad hijab say? I'm going to get it for you right now. Okay, let me put it on the screen. Show. Okay. Let us hear what our brother Muhammad hijab has to say. And then we're going to lay into him. I'm going to give Muhammad hijab a piece of my mind. Brace yourself, Muhammad hijab. Brace yourself. I'm going to give you a real lesson right here.
We need women to actually debate feminism. Me or you debating feminism is not the same.
The optics.
Actually, like Candace Owens coming and there's 20 women. She did this thing with Jubilee. Yeah. 20 women feminists debate me. Wallahi, when was the last time since Zara Faris or whoever it may be that a woman did that successfully?
There hasn't been one.
So we need it. Akhi, we need this, akhi. Well, I'm telling you, we need it because we looked at the demographics, we looked at this data, we looked at the everything, and I'm telling you, oh, but the woman needs to be. That's it. The age of that is finished. We need women to communicate with other women. I'm telling you, this is what I believe. We need.
Okay, so this was one clip. There was another clip where he's saying that we need more women speakers. I can find it, but it's basically the same thing. He says that we need more women speakers, more women debaters. Sounds like he wants more sheikhas. He wants more sheikhas and ustazas and muftiyas. We have to have the muftiya. It sounds like that's what Brother Muhammad Hijab is saying. Like, do I agree with that? Do I agree with more sheikhas in the dawah? So here's my perspective on this. To a certain extent, I think he is right. He is right. And I am fully on board with the idea that in certain situations, you do need more female speakers. Why do you say that why am I saying that I agree? Look at my own wife, Khalid. Who is the one who has allowed Khalid to come and give courses and to speak, even on this channel? Who's the one who gave her permission to do that? It was me. It was me. And it was on the basis of, I'm here for over a decade now, ranting and raving about feminism and the dangers of it and the disaster of the abolition of gender roles that's happening in the Muslim community. And okay, yeah, fine. Some Muslims are listening, mainly men, but how do we get through to the women? And unfortunately, like, some of these women are so sick, they're mentally diseased, that they're only going to be able to listen to a woman who says that. Another woman who has that message. So, okay, here's Khalid. And she's going to say the same thing. She's going to say the same thing. She's going to say that women need to know their place. Women need to shut their mouths. And they shouldn't be educated. They shouldn't go to university. That's pretty much what she says, except somehow she says it in a way that just sounds better to other women. I don't know what it is. I don't know what kind of magic spell is involved. So I agree. I agree with Muhammad Hijab that we do need to have Muslim women. The only caveat I would put with that, the only asterisk I would put there is it has to be Muslim women that are preaching the right message. And I think Brother Hijab agrees with that 100%. It has to be not feminists who are speaking, not these kinds of promoters of women's empowerment who are speaking. It has to be women who are, first of all, properly covered, so they're not showing their faces. Women who are going to come out and say that Muslim women need to be good, obedient wives. They need to be good, obedient wives who submit to the patriarchy, who respect their husbands, who don't talk back, who don't give attitude, who are going to be good Muslim wives. And they shouldn't be going to college. They shouldn't go be pursuing career advancement. Okay, that's the message that we need from female speakers. Unfortunately, there are no speakers who say that. The only woman who is saying that is Khalid. And she's my puppet. Okay, fine. She's not my puppet. Okay, that was a joke. That was a joke. She's not my puppet. She has her own mind and she has her own will. And what she says is of her own volition. Let me just make that. It was just a joke. But the only woman speaker who's actually preaching that message is Khalid. When you look at all of these sheikhas online, the Insta sheikhas, these speakers, the muftiyas, even some of these sheikhas that are quite elderly in age, like there's this one, is it Hudhaifa? Yunus? What is her name? No, it can't be Hudhaifa. That's the guy's name. What is her name? Forgot her name. But she is also one of these speakers. Haifa Yunus. Haifa. And she also has the same kind of empowerment message. Like, this is terrible poison for the next generation or the current generation of Muslim women. So we don't want more of that. We don't want more of these women coming onto the scene, becoming famous because they're preaching feminism, preaching women's empowerment, catering to the hawa of these women, the whims and desires of women. We need less of that. What we need are more Muslim women who are going to be traditional, who are going to tell women, hey, don't empower yourself. Don't focus on becoming an alima. Don't focus on going and doing alim studies and studying at Azhar University or Darul Uloom Deoband. We need Muslim women to come and say, no, ignore that. Focus on being a good wife. Learn how to be a good wife. Our grandmothers knew how to cook. Not only like the main kind of food, but also desserts. Like they were very competent in cooking desserts, all kinds of varieties of foods. They're very competent in sewing. This is a lost art, like sewing clothes. How do you sew clothes? This is something that our grandmothers and great-grandmothers knew because they would literally, there wasn't like some shopping mall that you go to and spend few bucks and get clothes. That's not what it was like in the past. You had to buy fabric. You buy fabric and then you have to be able to turn that fabric into shirts and shalwar kameez or pants or whatever. That skill has been lost. The women aren't learning this. The Muslim women aren't learning this. They're not practicing this. Okay, so how to cook, sew, clean. How do you keep a tidy, clean house? Okay, all of these things. How do you raise children? How do you have many children? Okay, the skill of having children, that itself is a lost skill. How to have children naturally so that you're not reliant on a hospital system. Like those are all skills. Those are things that women can learn and they should learn if they want to live traditional lives. It's not being taught. Like where are the Muslim women who are teaching that? Where are the Muslim speakers who are teaching that and pushing that message? We need more of that. I agree with Muhammad Hijab. We need much more of that. We need less of these feminists coming and tell Muslim women to go to college or go and become an alima. We need less of that. we need none. We need zero of that. Instead, we have the simp imams telling men that they need to cook and clean and knit. Like, isn't that what Mufti Menk was telling Muslim men? Like, yeah, learn how to knit. Teach your sons how to knit clothes. Unfortunately, this is our state. So that's my reaction to Muhammad Hijab, our brother, doing good work, mashallah. Yeah, so that's my comment. And any other comments from the audience, super chats? Mujahid says, is it true Asma bint Abi Bakr radiallahu anhuma said that marriage is slavery? I have no problem with it, but I know people who do. You have statements like this even from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Maybe not the term slavery, but it's like being a prisoner. Like it's being, you have to be careful. I'm not sure if this is a statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam or a statement of Umar radiallahu anhu, that be careful of who you give your daughters to in marriage, because being in a marriage is like being a prisoner. And the statement that he's making is that there are many rights that a husband has over his wife. So you have to be very cautious about, this is a good husband for my wife, and he will abide by Islamic rules and Islamic ethics and Islamic gender roles. But that statement shows you the kind of patriarchal institution that Islamic marriage is all about. Now, the feminists can writhe in anger and scream in rage, but that's Islam. Like, Islam is a patriarchal religion, and it's found directly in the Quran itself that al-rijalu qawamun ala nisa, men are the authorities over women, and authority is authority. So this is the model for Muslim marriage. If you don't like it, if you hate it, then that's on you. But don't try to change our religion. Don't try to change our religion by making it into feminism, equality marriage. Oh, we're just partners. It's a disaster. Tayyiba says, you should let Khalid teach other women to be a speaker like her. Yeah, Tayyiba, like if you are going to be like Khalid and you're going to teach women to get back in the kitchen, then yeah, you should be a speaker too. You should be a speaker too. GC4 Justice, what's your point of view on women claiming that they're supporting the Ummah by building a career? You're not building the Ummah, trust me. You're not building. And the thing is that when women make all of this wealth, who says that they're actually sharing it with anyone? It's not obvious that these women who are making this wealth, especially in the newer generations, I don't think they're actually giving much in terms of donations. Some of them do. Some of them, may Allah bless them, but others are not. So, look, like there are many, like we're talking, over the weekend I was giving this talk about marriage as well, and people ask questions like, what about a situation where my wife already is working, or I'm a woman and I'm working and I'm making all this money? It sounds like Daniel is just bashing me. And the point is that we live in a broken world. We live in a society that is not living according to the ideal. Like society hasn't been structured according to Islamic values. And many Muslims are trying their best, but they nonetheless fall into certain situations. Their lives are structured in a certain way before they even find out that this is a problem. Before they get red pilled, for example, or before they start listening to Khalid or listen to Daniel. So does that mean that Daniel and Khalid, they're just shaming and blasting people who they don't want to be in that situation, or they didn't know about how wrong or how bad that situation was before they got into it? No, that's not my intention. My intention is not to make those women who went through that system feel bad about themselves. But I want those women and those men to understand the reality of this structure, a structure that empowers women or educates women or promotes college and careerism for women. I want them to know that despite having gone through it themselves, that this is problematic, that this is destructive, so that the next generation, they will help teach the next generation, don't follow my footsteps. Don't follow my path. Let's look for a different avenue, a different way that is more in accordance with Islam. That's what I want you to do. I went to college. My wife went to college. My wife also went to college. She was also in the dorms. We went through that. Okay, so you can't tell us that we're speaking out of ignorance. We don't know the actual reality on the ground. You can't accuse us of this. But the point is that we realize that this is a bad situation, that this is contrary to human flourishing and contrary to the future of the Ummah. So we need to create a better solution for the next generation. Now, if we were insecure, we would say that, well, we went through this. We did it the Western way in terms of going to college. Therefore, we're going to propagate that because we're insecure about ourselves, or we don't want to be called hypocrites or whatever. And then you're silent. Like, that's a disaster. So if you're a woman, you're a college graduate, or you're working, okay? I'm not trying to shame you. You realize that this is unideal. That's all that is necessary. Don't be insecure. Like this, people who are insecure, if you criticize something that they themselves are involved with, then they just have a lashing out. They have an ego defense that they lash out. When in reality, you need to just acknowledge, like, yeah, Daniel, you're bringing up some good points. This is societal wide. It can be a big problem. So what can we do for the future? What solutions can we bring for the future generation? How can we avoid these problems? That's what an emotionally and intellectually mature person would do, even despite being educated or having a career or making money, etc., being empowered. Like, that's an intellectually and emotionally mature response, to actually look at the facts on the ground. Fortunately, many people can't do that. They can't separate facts from their feelings, from their emotions that they have and the ego defense that they have. They can't separate those things. And that is a emotional and intellectual problem that they have. They're immature. But for the rest of us, we have to transcend that. I am Sultan. When can we expect Genius of Islam? Not sure. I can't give you a date at this point, but I would like for it to come out within the next year, inshallah. Draxy says, but what about the Muslim women doctors? That's a funny meme. Okay, guys, appreciate all of your super chats and all your comments. Hopefully you enjoyed the show, learned a lot about hypergamy and the college experience, and a lot of hoeing it up in the dorms. So let that be a warning to the fathers. I guess that's my ultimate message. Let that be a warning. And that's our show. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the newsletter, and don't forget our marriage retreat, marriage school, coming up in April. That is going to be available. Sign up for that if you haven't, and you'll see me. You'll see Khalid in Turkey, and inshallah it'll be a good time. Catch you on the next episode next week of Haqiqatjou. Oh, also I forgot, there's going to be a open debate challenge where we're going to live stream on Saturday morning U.S. time. There's going to be a link that I'll post. And we invite Christians to come to the stream and to defend their theology. Specifically, the question that we're going to focus on, is Islam or liberal atheism a greater threat to Christianity? We want to hear from you Christians. So I'll post the link in the community tab and on my Telegram and on Twitter. And you can come to the live stream and debate your case against me and some other Muslim speakers, inshallah. It's going to be a good time. So catch you for that on Saturday. Don't forget to tune in, inshallah. Okay, talk to you guys later, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.